Among Us, Innersloth's space-themed whodunit has definitely taken the gaming world by storm. Its cute aesthetics, easy-to-learn gameplay, and minimal cost both in terms of price and hardware have successfully made it a viral game. It's a perfect game to play while social distancing, as all you need is a phone and good lying skills. So how much do you really know about Among Us? It's been out for over 2 years already, and has plenty of facts and tidbits that fans can dive into. Let's start with 13. Among Us is not its original name. The concept behind Among Us is similar to the two popular party games, Mafia and Werewolf. Inspired by the games, Among Us used to take that inspiration quite far. It used to be called Space Mafia, which does a perfectly fair job at describing the game. At its core, it is Mafia with a space skin slapped on. However, the finalized title of Among Us is much better suited, creating fear and suspense that fester throughout the gameplay. Number 12. Surprisingly, this game was developed by a team of 3. It is commonly believed that to create a video game, you need a large team of developers to work on it. Well, this doesn't apply to Among Us. Behind the project, there were only 3 people involved, including Forrest W., Marcus Bromander, and Amy Liu. Aside from Among Us, the company also developed games such as Stick to China in 2015 and the Henry Stickmin Collection in 2020. Number 11. Among Us took only 12 months to develop. Just as amazing that only 3 people created Among Us, it's also impressive to learn that it only took 12 months to finish. Noted that most modern games take from 3 to 5 years to complete. Number 10. Among Us gained popularity in 2020 due to YouTubers and Twitch streamers playing the game. So, some may wonder what made Among Us catapulted to fame 2 years later since it was created. The craze caught on in 2020 when famous Twitch streamers such as PewDiePie and Soda Popping were playing the game on Twitch. Twitch is a live streaming platform for gamers, where PewDiePie and Soda Popping have 1.3 million and 3 million followers on that platform accordingly. Many famous YouTubers and streamers jumped on the bandwagon and played the game, which quickly shot Among Us to fame. Number 9. An American politician played Among Us on the Twitch stream. For a space-themed murder game, Among Us was involved in some pretty heavy political moments. One of them is that Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez participated in a session on Twitch with famous streamers. It wasn't purely for fun though. It was an engaging and interesting way to foster more young people to vote in the 2020 US presidential election. Better than the boring speech, right? Number 8. Among Us was the world's most downloaded game in 2020. Downloads rose by 661% to 18.4 million in August 2020 as compared to July, while the numbers further increased to 41.9 million downloads in the month of September. Among Us was the biggest game of the year and was more popular than Roblox. The game was downloaded 264 million times across the world. That's a lot. Number 7. A sequel was announced, then cancelled later on. A viral hit is unavoidably going to make developers see dollar signs and want to cash in on the hype generated. That's why sequels exist. After the viral success of Among Us, a second game was announced in a post on Innersloth's website in August 2020, but was then cancelled a month later in a follow-up post. The developers stated that they were going to instead focus on turning the original into the best version of the game it could be. While these two posts definitely gave some fans whiplash, it's nice to see Innersloth is focusing on enhancing the experience of what players have already purchased. Number 6. Among Us nearly got cancelled several times. Among Us didn't start its life as an internet phenomenon. In fact, at launch, it only had about 30 to 50 concurrent players and lacked online multiplayer. Developer Forrest Wheeler said that it didn't release super well, and we stuck with Among Us a lot longer than we probably should have from a pure business standpoint. Wheeler then said, "We tried to quit and we should have quit several times." It's lucky that they didn't, as Among Us is now averaging around 100,000 concurrent players according to Steam's analytics. Number 5. The merchandise were so popular that they were sold out within weeks. With its popularity, Innersloth released related merchandises for hardcore fans to purchase on its online store. They include items for you to wear and hug, such as t-shirts and plushies. Pre-orders were open in August and they were sold out within a few weeks due to its popularity. Number 4. Among Us is more popular outside of the US. Given how many US streamers play Among Us and the fact that Congresswoman AOC has joined in on the fun, you would be forgiven for thinking the game was most popular in the States. In fact, Forrest Wheeler said that the US was losing to countries like Korea, Brazil, and Mexico. This is a good news for fans of the game worldwide, as it means there will always be a lobby waiting. Number 3. Among Us is an award-winning game. The team at Innersloth picked up the Breakthrough Award at the Golden Joystick ceremony in November 2020. A few weeks later, they won 2 categories at the Game Awards for Best Mobile Game and Best Multiplayer Game. Number 2. Among Us has seasonal changes. Games that want players to keep returning usually offer new content as an incentive for continued play. Seasonal map changes have been delivered in games such as Call of Duty and Killing Floor 2. Among Us also impressed fans with some Halloween decorations hung around the maps. But did you know that you can alter your device's clock to unlock other seasonal changes? If you change to Christmas Day and host a game, you and everyone else playing will unlock new hats. If that minimal aesthetic change isn't enough to entice you, then how about being able to mess with your friends? Set the date to April 1st, April Fool's Day, and the scale will be mirrored, confusing even experienced imposters and bamboozling helpless crewmates. Number 1. Among Us shares many similarities with The Thing. If you describe a situation where a group of scientists in a remote location has to complete tasks while trying to figure out who among them is the alien imposter, many people would think you were describing John Carpenter's 1982 science fiction horror classic, The Thing. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below the topic you want to see next. Thank you for watching. See you next time.